everyone. If you guys haven't heard good news all week, I'll tell you it's a good thing that Sarah and I are here. Governor Jerry Brown has done a great thing for California. By 2022, the minimum wage will be at $15 an hour. This is so good for us. Daisy and Ryan feel otherwise. However, I'm here to tell you that California's $15 an hour minimum wage increase will be extremely beneficial for our economy. Along with that, it is not true that the wages will cause unemployment. It will not hurt small businesses, and it will not cause major inflation. First, let us begin with how this will help our economy. According to the Wall Street Journal, economists generally agree that low-wage workers are more likely than any other income group to spend any additional earnings they receive, largely because they must in order to meet their basic needs. Higher income individuals, corporations, and beneficiaries of corporate profits are more likely to save at least a portion of any additional income. This is perfect. More money, more spending, it boosts the economy, it's black and white. Let's push forward. Many workers employed by low-paying companies like Walmart are dependent on government subsidies like food stamps and Medicaid just to survive. A recent congressional study found that one Walmart ends up costing taxpayers as much as $900,000 in federal and state subsidies per year. We could potentially be saving $900,000 with just one Walmart. This is the taxpayer money. Everybody complains about taxes. The government will be thrilled. The minimum wage increase only makes sense. The United States Department of Labor let the public know that it is in fact a myth that increasing the minimum wage is bad for the economy. They say since 1938, the federal minimum wage has been increased 22 times. For more than 75 years, real GDP per capita has steadily increased, even when the minimum wage has been raised. If the Department of Labor says it's not going to hurt our economy, wouldn't you agree that it's safe to say that we could believe them? Secondly, it's not true that raising the wage causes unemployment. Again, the U.S. Department of Labor says more than 600 economists, including 7 Nobel Prize winners, wrote in recent years there have been important developments in academic literature on effects of increases in the minimum wage on employment, with the weight of evidence not showing that increases in the minimum wage have had little or no negative effect on employment of minimum wage workers, even during the times of weakness in the labor market. Research suggests that minimum wage increase would have stimulative effect on the economy as low-wage workers spend their additional earnings, raising demand on job growth and providing some help on the job front. I mean, do we even need to go further? 600 economists, 7 Nobel Prize winners. Who are Ryan and Daisy to disagree with them? The Washington Post says case studies of cities with higher wage floors are less common, but those that have been done support the findings of the state and country research. Studies of San Francisco and Santa Fe, the two cities with the longest track records of higher minimum wages, reveal no statistically significant negative effects on employment or hours, including in low-wage industries such as restaurants. So these are two cities that have not experienced unemployment. This is a great indication of how the $15 increase is going to go overall in California. Next, the wage increase will not hurt small businesses. The Huffington Post says when the minimum wage rises, it is usually phased in over time, giving firms time to adjust. As wages rise, firms become more productive and efficient because higher wages reduce turnover and the hiring and training costs. Each time a worker quits a fast food job, their turnover rates are exceptionally high. It costs an employer $4,700 to replace them. Using the low estimate of a living wage, raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour would save firms a total of $2.1 billion, allowing them to avoid layoffs and afford their higher costs. Did I mention that businesses with fewer than 25 employees would have 1 extra year to comply with the new law? It's honestly so nice of them to consider small businesses. They didn't have to do that. Keep in mind, it's a gradual increase. I mean, the mom and pop shops will be thanking them later when people have more money to come and spend at their restaurants. Business is going to be booming for them. And lastly, let's talk inflation. The Huffington Post informs the public that another reason higher minimum wages do not lead to increased unemployment is that firms can compensate for the higher labor costs by raising the prices. A $15 minimum wage would cause firms to employ low-wage workers to raise prices by only 3%. $15 an hour and a measly 3% inflation increase We can afford it, I promise. Our bank accounts are gonna be so full that we won't even notice the price increase. Okay, and I'd like to end on this note. Why raising the minimum wage is good for the economy states that the value of the minimum wage has been on the decline for years. In 1968, the minimum wage was $10 per hour in today's dollars. If it had kept up with productivity growth over the last 2 decades, it would be at $19 per hour. Well, maybe we aren't at $19 yet, but we have to take a leap in that direction and catch up at some point. $15 an hour is a step in the right direction. Here's a little recap. California's $15 an hour minimum wage increase is so good for our economy, and it's not true that businesses suffer, that unemployment skyrockets, and that inflation is going to make a huge difference. Thank you.